Hey everyone, Steven here, and just wanted to show you a project I'm working on. I don't know how many, it's not really a how-to, and I don't know how many videos I'll actually be able to shoot because it is for a client. And when I go to install this, if everything works out right, the homeowners may be there, and so I may not be able to show you like the installation of the finished project, only the finished project itself. But here's what I'm doing. Treated piece of lumber, 2 by 10 by whatever the length is. It's already cut at this point. And this is going to become a hammock. And here I have this netting, and this netting is actually a hammock, and it's advertised as an exterior hammock. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take un momento. These eye bolts. I've laid out a series of holes based on the spacing of these grommets in the netting, and these grommets actually are not evenly spaced. They actually they look even, but once you start to lay a tape measure on them, they're actually they're not regular enough. And so what I did was I actually established 2 endpoints, stretched it a little bit, and then I was able to lay this down, pin it on both ends, and then mark everything 2.5 inches down from the top, and make a circle where the grommet is. Therefore, I had the ability then to start pre-drilling. The pre-drilling was a series of 3 steps. One step, once I had a mark, I actually took a small, this is like a 1/8 bit, down through to give me basically a pilot hole as a guide. Once I did this, I switched over to a 1-inch spade bit, and that is where this bolt will come through, and then I will have a washer and a nut that'll be recessed on this face, and so it will not actually bother anything forward of this, which is the exterior of the hammock, of course. Then flipped it back over. Step 3, 3/8 shank, 3/8 bit, and not really too much of a big deal there as far as I didn't have to oversize the bit too much. I didn't want to have a lot of slop in the fitting of this, but I didn't want to thread it in either. So actually a 3/8 bit worked out very well, and so wherever I had a pilot hole, step 3 gave me my actual 3/8 hole for the bolt itself. Once that's done, and this is my last piece of the 4 that I need, and so this will go down in there, and then I will have an additional nut and washer on the bottom, and eventually I have these carabiners, basically just a hook, and it'll hook in there. Well, I have it backwards, hang on. It's important I get it right, and I just did it wrong again. There we go. And so with this in the upright position, this will allow the smaller inset of this carabiner to rest in the eye bolt itself, and then the carabiner itself then has enough room for the grommet locks, and then these are actually locking, so I can screw this and lock it, and eventually that's what I've got. And this will hopefully allow then the homeowners, once I install this, get these, I'm going to have a little bit of adjustment, maybe a 1/4 inch either way to tighten or loosen. But the idea is that this is a little bit loose and that it more or less hangs off of these carabiners. It's not taut, that it's actually going to hang down a bit. When you get into it, if you're 1, you'll be in the middle. If you're 2, then hopefully that'll taut. Never done this before, so it'll be interesting. I've got to put it together and test it first. But that's the idea. And I'll have some micro adjustment here just to tighten it a little bit in all directions. And then once it's set, these go on a metal frame. This gets suspended, of course, all the way around on the four sides. And then eventually the outer band, it'll actually get another layer of treated all the way around the outer band. This is cantilevered out from underneath a deck at deck level. And so you will basically be able to be in a hammock over the water, suspended. So it'll be interesting if I pull it off. The homeowners saw it when they were on a resort somewhere in the Caribbean. Showed me a few pictures of it and said, can you do something like this? And I said, I'll try. So here I am. It'll be interesting, and I believe it's going to work. I have to have metal fabricated for this, and so that'll be something that tonight, once I have this assembled, I'll have final measurements. I'll be able to draw it up. I'm going to actually download SketchUp tonight, and then I'm going to play around with SketchUp to see if I can't get some dimensional drawings that I can hand over to the metal fabricator that's up the valley about a half hour. And it'll be an interesting project, to say the least. Never did it before, never done it before. And so I'm kind of excited about it. It's, you know, a little bit anxious. You know, you want it to come out right. They're spending a lot of money on it. I don't come cheap. I'm not the most expensive out there, but I'm not exactly the cheapest out there either. And so my time being worth money, that I want it to be fruitious for them. That the money they spend is certainly going to be worth the product that they get. And I'll make sure it is. But it's an untried technique. And some days they don't pay off, and some days they do. I'm hoping this is one of those days projects that they do. Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry. And next video, I don't know, will be some assembly somewhere in the middle just to show you what it looks like. Thanks.